Welcome to South Harmon.
Mike, we already got a super chat from Jake. The hell's going on around here, man? You know,
Jake's on top of it, man. Jake's excited.
Wasted no time. Is he excited about the whole George Pickens thing, or is this just because we're back? You know,
I would be.
Yeah,
I would be.
What do you think about this George Pickens trade? You have a Cowboys jersey on, so I want to hear from you. What do you got, man? Talk to me. Give me your
CD, baby. You had to put CD on. You know,
absolutely.
This is great for CD. This is fantastic for CD.
We've been talking for how many? It feels like a year plus. Well, it's been a year plus. It feels like eternity. We've been talking like, hey, can we get something better than the garbage on the other side? Since Brandon Cooks is now too old, you know.
Let's play a little game. Let's just play a little game.
Let's do it. I love a little game. Okay.
It's like a trivia night. All right.
Yeah.
Name your fighter. What up, Jake? Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Name your fighter. Okay. These are the number 2 leading receiver on the Dallas Cowboys, going all the way back to CeeDee Lamb's rookie year. So he came in the league at 2020. So let's play.
Okay.
Last year, Adam. Who was the second leading receiver on the Dallas Cowboys last year?
What is Jalen Tolbert?
Jalen Tolbert is correct. Ding, ding, ding. Can you give me his yardage?
Mike, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me because I know a lot of receivers' yardage roughly. I'll be honest, his is so bad I don't think I do. Let me get what is 650?
Oh, you're pretty close, buddy. 610.
Wow.
Big dub.
I'll take it
for you. Yeah, 49 for 610. Jalen Tolbert, the superstar.
I knew it was probably better than I thought, but Mike, I basically 700 was like where I kind of stopped caring, and I'm like, let me go a little under that, you know.
2023.
Is it Brandon Cooks?
It is not Brandon Cooks.
I know he got hurt at some point during the year, so that would make really rough. That kind of makes more sense. I don't even know who the hell it would be then that year.
Jake Ferguson.
Okay. Oh, all right. I wasn't thinking we were talking tight ends. Okay, now I get it. That makes sense.
You got his yardage total.
2023 total. I'm gonna guess 700.
Oh, pretty good again, man. You're within that 100 limit. 761 for Mr. Jake Ferguson.
How many tight ends? How many touchdowns did he have that year?
5.
Okay. All right. So 23, we got a tight end.
Yep.
22. All right. Well, we're gonna get to 22. 24, we had Jalen Tolbert. And their tight end position was actually Dak did get hurt last year too, but their tight end position was pretty garbage all year, right?
2022. What do you got?
I'm gonna say. I'm trying to remember. If Cooks was on the roster, which I feel like he wasn't though.
He was not. I'll spoil it for you.
Okay. So then I'm going to take Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz is the correct answer. You got his yardage total.
Let me get 850.
Not even fucking close.
Was it that bad?
577.
Okay. For some reason, you know what's crazy about that, Mike? For some reason, it stands out like that was. Remember, Dalton Schultz got the contract with Houston. It was like he kept playing well. He must have had a bunch of touchdowns or something because that's terrible.
Yeah. All right. And then 2021.
I'm going to be honest. Now we're testing like this 2021 for the record. This is the start of South Harmon. Okay. This is the year we formed South Harmon. I was not quite as on top of the yardage this year. Yeah.
A little FF for you. A little fun fact.
Dude, wasn't that great? I'm trying to remember. 2021 season. So Cooks definitely wasn't there. Obviously, we have. Bro, it's been so bad.
No Cooks.
It wasn't Dalton Schultz again, was it?
Was not. It was Amari Cooper. So it's.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was a receiver. I could not. That's amazing. Yeah, we swindled Cooper from the Browns, and now the Cowboys are getting back to the Steelers. We love it. You know.
You got his yardage total.
Yeah, Amari Cooper. You know what's crazy? He that year, right? He started more as I thought he had a good start. Jerry Jones got really pissed at the end of the year, though, about how he finished. I want to say he actually had a pretty damn good year, though. Let me get 900. He might have even had 1,000. Let me get 900.
Less than 900, but it was a good guess.
Okay.
865.
Oh, that's a pretty damn good guess. All right.
Do you notice a trend here? There's never been 1,000.
We've never had 1,000. Yeah.
Opposite of CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has been it. If you want to count CeeDee's rookie year, CeeDee was the second leading receiver on his team in his rookie year. Didn't crack 1,000. He was close. 935. Amari Cooper led the team in receiving yards.
And that was in which year?
CeeDee Lamb's rookie year, 2020.
That's what I thought. So Amari Cooper basically was the one when they drafted CD. CD clearly like overtook him in that next year. Jerry Jones was like, I want this guy out of town, and they traded him for a fifth. Right.
You had 2 years with wide receivers being the third, right? You had the tight end as the second, and then the opposite wide receiver to CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown in 2022. Yikes.
You know what's crazy?
And
Noah
Brandon
Brown.
Cooks for part of a season in 2023.
Well, honestly, you know what though? When you listen to us go through that, right, or me try to guess, I'm missing a couple names, and I got actually closer than I expected to on some of them, yardage wise. But Amari Cooper, right, he was the leading receiver the year prior. So okay, that year it just was the flip flop, right? And then you brought in Brandon Cooks, and you thought that was a solution. I feel like there was a lot of telling and stories, Mike, that solidified the wide receiver 2 role. But what we're hearing is it absolutely didn't fucking happen, you know?
Absolutely fucking disgusting what CD's had for help opposite him. He has been a one-man band. Now,
and think about that too. Think about that too.
Target competition would worry me if, one, it wasn't a high-volume passing offense. And before people jump in like, well, they've said they want to get back to running the football. They drafted Phil Maffa and Jaden Blue as like, that's going to be their fucking answer to the run game. Okay? Mm-hmm. Stop. Mm-hmm. Stop. Jaden Blue is not a fucking workhorse. I love Derek Brown, but Jaden Blue couldn't fucking get on the field with less talented fucking players in front of him for years.
Mike,
years. Years.
Listen, I've tried really hard not to be. I don't want to be the guy that's like anti a player, because especially a rookie, right? People, you're a hater, right?
Fine. Just pump the fucking brakes.
No, Mike, listen. Jesus. I have a video, my video on YouTube for BDGE this week. 7 players and their value skyrocketing. I was like, I still think there's value to be captured for all these players, but Jaden Blue, and he's the one that I'm pushing against. I'm gonna pump the brakes, because you know what this is. And I talked about it. Got a 3-hour shout out to America's Game, 3-hour America Game coming out here. Doing the same thing with E. I'm like, this is Kamani Vidal, guys. I'm not saying he's the same player, but this is the same principle right now. We're chasing what we think.
Insult to Kamani Vidal.
But Mike, Jaden Blue is like hella talented, and I'm not saying he can't. But do you know what happens if you start pushing the guy up?
Or does he just look like he runs fast and he's smooth?
But that in football, that's basically what talent is, isn't it?
But if he was hella talented, wouldn't you play over less talented running backs that are very unappealing?
I made the case for Wisner. Why, like Wisner this year wasn't actually that talented. He took a lot of the touches this year.
And he looks fucking.
Right, and he was I think he was a 2-star kid. Now, I mean, I'm not hating on Wisner, but if you're, again, that you would get all those carries. His carry load. His first season was like 12 carries. His next season was like 65. I think this last year he got like 100 and something carries. We're talking he's almost got less than 200 carries for his career. But listen, if they took him and he becomes a guy that gets a bunch of volume, we'll see what happens in that scenario. But we're pushing him up the board way too far on this offense, in my opinion. But anyway,
but so anyways, that's what they did in the draft to address their want to run the football.
I think a far bigger thing was the Booker draft, though. The Booker, I think, helps the O-line a lot.
Before that, at the running back position,
oh gosh,
they brought in Miles Sanders, who couldn't even get on the field in Carolina.
They brought in the reason that everyone's excited about Jaden Blue, because everyone hates Javonte now, and everybody hates Miles Sanders
and Javonte Williams. So this is your running back room right now.
But that's why Kamani Vidal is such a good example, Mike. You know what happened? Everyone said J.K. was done. He was toast. Gus Edwards, people never had liked him. Look what happened.
They bring in an offensive lineman, road grader, so people get excited. They're still going to run the fuck out. They're going to try to run the football. Okay, it's not going to work. Here's the big thing. This is like the Seahawks a few years ago when we're like, Pete Carroll always wants to run the football. This is what he wants to do. The fucking defense is garbage. It's ass. It's terrible. The team is fucking terrible.
They have a personality on defense, but they need a lot more help
to establish the run. All you fucking want until you're down 21 in the first half.
And before you pass the sticks, you got to at least try to throw it, you know?
They're going to fucking throw the football. Again, another year of Dallas having a subpar defense, having holes. Mm-hmm. And now they are built through the passing game. Again, Dak, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. There's enough to go around, right? Like, this does nothing for me with Jake Ferguson, but Jake Ferguson never really did anything for me anyways. Like, just whatever. Who gives a shit?
Honestly, I would say where Schultz is at, he's proven to just be a tight end there, right?
George Pickens just got an increase by going to Dallas, right?
Definitely.
I trust George Pickens' quarterback situation a lot more than I trusted whatever the fuck was going to happen in Pittsburgh.
And passing volume in Pittsburgh versus Dallas, for sure.
As much as people don't want to hear it, George Pickens wasn't as good as DK Metcalf, who they brought in, right? This is also good.
And they also hadn't just traded for him and paid him, so that is always going to be a big thing.
This is also good for whatever the hell I wanted DK Metcalf to actually be, because there's nobody else there in Pittsburgh. Like, this is just good,
Mike,
all the way around.
Well,
this is one
great.
of the few NFL trades that I go, thank God, we got some fucking winners.
No
here's losers.
Can I tell you to your point? I know in best ball a lot of times, right? But I do have in lineup some DK. All my Pickens are in best ball, but I have 4 Pickens in best ball, and I think I have it's either 3 or 4 DK, which for me, right, I'm in 18 leagues. So anything at 6, 5, 4 is actually quite a bit of shares, right? So, Mike, I've been trying to move DK a lot because I'm like, man, I love DK Metcalf still, but I'm so just meh on it. And I look at his production realistically in Warp the last few years in Seattle, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't tell myself a story where it's going to be better right now with what's going on in Pittsburgh. You know what's great? Fucking nobody wanted DK. That's the reason I wanted to move him. Now, you tell me he can't be the DK Metcalf that what Pickens was supposed to be, what we wanted out of Pickens. DK could at least be that. And we saw DK. I know there's some Geno lovers out there, so that's fine. But these guys are not great quarterbacks, but they'll get him the ball. DK going to
de facto target hog DK mode.
Dude, this is the first time Seattle's ever basically paid that type of a contract to a receiver in a long time. And Mike, they traded for him to do so. They traded for him first, then they paid him. The targets are coming. And the fact that Pickens is gone, it proves that. Now, here's the one for Pickens is like, Mike, I was really getting scared of Pickens. I'm like, I guess in best ball you just have to live with the super boom or bust. But I'm like, I feel like boom is going to be a lot less likely. He's a really good, I think, boom or bust player now on a weekly basis in Dallas because of the target upside with the offense. The fact that, CD's on the other side. Pickens, I think, is in a position where Dak, with the way he throws the football too, guy that comes down with the contested catches, dude, he's never going to have any type of number one corners on him. I think he's going to get a lot of good chances in the red zone with Dak too.
He's going to get his, right? Like, the target volume for George Pickens has never been absurd. Like, oh my God, he's been a lot of boom or bust. He's been streaky. He's disappeared at times.
Right.
He doesn't have to be the alpha. Like, they don't have to wedge him into this alpha role, which he's probably not good at anyways. Like, it never really was that appealing in Pittsburgh.
But that's why I think people would hate when he gets to a certain point in Dynasty, right? Because he's really not a true alpha as far as the number one in an offense that's going to be really high-powered, I think. You're right.
Now he goes with a bona fide superstar, one of the best wide receivers in the entire fucking league, even though last year left a sour taste in most of our mouths.
Of course.
CeeDee Lamb is still fucking him. He's still him. And Dak is a good, competent quarterback, okay? He's above average in the NFL. Yes. Yep. Is he fun to make fun of? Fuck yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. It's great. I love making fun of Dak. But for fantasy purposes, fantasy football purposes, let's separate our hate and our fandom, and then let's live in reality. Dak Prescott with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, healthy in an offense that has a defense on the other side that not that good. Kind of sucks. And it's the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to throw the fucking football. And if we had any hope of Dak Prescott being back to did you look? Do you see Dak Prescott was QB7 on the year? It's this fucking year. It's set up for it where Dak might feed your fucking fantasy teams by himself. And nobody really seemed to care. I saw it was just talks about what's this do for George Pickens? That's all people really cared about. It's Dak wasn't even mentioned in the same breath.
Because Mike,
I just wanted to make memes of him throwing more interceptions, and I'm thinking I'm going to get this guy as like QB 18 or 19 in like
No,
startups.
every year.
Fuck me.
Every year there's I think in the quarterback 3 discussion, there's actually values in startups like you're talking about right now, right? Like and Dak is now I'm very curious to see what the ADP does. I don't think it's going to shift enough. I think he'll probably get a little bump, but not nearly enough. Cuz he was in like startup range round 3 last year, believe it or not, because he had been doing so well. And people, I think, still kind of gave him wrongly the running tag because of years past, right?
Yeah.
Mike, here's the thing now. You see how with older quarterbacks and aging players, we're ready to write people off in a fucking hurry, man. I mean, look at where DK's not DK, sorry. Look at where Tyreek's at, right? Look at where Dak Prescott's at. The one thing about the players that get higher in ADP as they're older, they're definitely past what you would consider like a likable range in Dynasty as far as age. Dude, you have a bad season, you're going fucking down in a hurry. Dak's a huge value now, though. Tell me right now, Dak Prescott is not a younger plus version of Matt Stafford.
Very plus at this point. Yeah.
But like, I just feel like they were being drafted right before this trade, and they still probably will be, is neck and neck, like right near each other in startups.
So people will much rather take the chance on Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield 2-3 rounds before Dak Prescott, and I will gladly just take Dak, right? Because the range of outcomes for both of them are very similar, but people are going to live in last year. They're going to live in the fact that, nothing's changed in Detroit. Nothing's going to be different, right? Nothing happened. Nothing changed for the Buccaneers, even though they just both teams lost 2 very, very good offense coordinators to other fucking teams as head coaches, and we're going to act like that's not going to have any effect. We don't know that for a fact. Could it not have any effect? Sure. Could it also be majorly detrimental for those fucking offenses? Yeah. It really could. The range of outcomes on all 3 of those players is almost identical, right? So just give me the one that costs.
And literally what is the difference? With a singular answer with one word to try to keep it concise and make sure there's no confusion here. It's called recency fucking bias. It's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Because you know what Baker Mayfield was recently, Mike? He was getting ready to be the Darnold cast-off.
Yes, he was. The Darnold cast.
Like that was the range he was just recently at, right?
Yeah.
Now we're convinced he's him again. I don't even know if I say again. This may be about as high as he's ever been valued in fucking Dynasty.
Just a few seasons ago, I still remember the memes of the Kyle Trask Baker Mayfield mid-off of the century that it was called at the time. Just so you know.
Mike, I will say Kyle Trask is one of the, and I'm not sorry because I ended up being right. I never got it with Kyle Trask. Why he was being drafted, this like waiting game. Like, that's not normally how this quarterback thing goes, especially with that type of draft capital,
Does it feel like Tyler Shuck?
Oh, jeez. Ugh. Stop it.
Just say.
All right, Mike, I want. Here's what I want to do about Dak. Actually, you talked about this, so I'm going to go through. Let's pull up.
All these people big mad at me wearing a Cowboys jersey. Listen. I will show love to good players. I don't have to like the fucking team, but I like the fact that CeeDee Lamb's winning me championships.
Right. Mike has shares of Cowboys players, and he during the offseason will from time to time throw on a Cowboys jersey. Where he doesn't like wearing one is when he loses a bet with Fizz. That's about it. That's
right. When you force me to.
Yeah.
I'll do it when
I have to wear one. Oh, now I'm fucking pissed. Okay. Now I'm real angry.
Listen, if I got to do one too, it's going to be a CeeDee Lamb, and that's probably it. There's
Caleb Johnson to the moon. We were already there, but he might get there now. Here's what Peter says. Where is Dak for you guys now in your rankings? How far did he move, if at all? I'm getting ready to actually do mine, but what I want to do right now is pull up for the discussion of where we should have the rankings, Mike. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to pull up Warp right on the side here, and what I'm going to ask you is, we'll just run a standard, lineup league. So let's call it a lineup start 10, right? I'm going to give you the finishes yearly for Dak and kind of see what you think. So this last year, let me run these over here. But I'm kind of curious. Last year, what do you think he would be in a lineup start 10? because we know it wasn't good.
Now he had a pretty shitty year.
Right.
I'm gonna go 23.
Okay. Let's
just shooting a shot, just guessing.
Yeah. I'm running. I've run these before, so hopefully they're quick. You know what's actually kind of fun about doing this?
QB2 worthy.
You know what's kind of fun about this, Mike? We with our website, we kind of pay for the expected traffic, and we continue to pay more if we need to. Well, the thing about it is, it also can in pockets get crazy high. When we run a stream, all of a sudden they're a little slower because people are trying to run them with us. You know, like it's amazing.
Tried to do it too.
Yeah,
pulling it up, following along.
No,
color by numbers.
And that's good. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I've already run this today, and I'm like, it's taking a few minutes, but this one's pretty ugly. Let's pull it out though. Oh, that's a pause, but let's pull it out though. All right, Mike. He is. Oh wow, it's pretty.
What's at the end of it?
It's pretty nice. Pretty rough. How about 31? Can I interest you in quarterback 31?
Yikes. Okay.
So this is in a 4-point per passing touchdown, right? This is literally, I ran this league. If you look on, if you go on the Warp Tool and you put in Raptor 15, which is my name, you go to standard PPR 25 roster spots. That's a league I'm not actually in that I run just for Warp, right? So now let's go to 2023 because Mike, I'm curious actually to see, and this is I'm using 4-point per passing touchdown because that would slightly devalue a guy like him stylistically, right? So then let's go to 2023.
Runner anymore.
No. It used to be a nice little floor rusher, actually. All right, now give me 2023 before you look.
Oh, I didn't even pull it up.
Oh, okay, cool.
He had a massive fucking year. Him and CD cooked, especially after they fixed their shit like week 6 or 7, whatever the fuck that was. Well,
and yeah, right after the bye, remember CeeDee Lamb was outrageous.
I'm gonna go top 5. I thought it was a pretty good year. Maybe I'm gonna go 3. I think 3.
Top five. Okay, so how about Josh Allen 2.466? This is 4-point passing touchdown.
Dope.
Jalen Hurts 2.38. How about quarterback 3? Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And how about 2.02? So, Mike, in a standard lineup start 10 with 25 roster spots, Lamar Jackson was also 2.02. So, technically, also quarterback 3, but they listed him at 4. Literally the exact same warp. But there was only 4 quarterbacks that year in this scoring format, Superflex, that were over 2 warp. So, Mike, you're talking about a guy right now that just got Pickens that we saw the last time he was fully healthy
2 years ago
was a top 5 warp option.
Mm-hmm. And a 4-pointer. Not a 6-pointer.
Exactly. You know what? I was just going to, dude, you fucking got right where mind meld tonight. I was actually not sure if we were going to be tonight because you never know. Who's the only quarterback there? Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You know what those guys are? Elite level rushers.
Dope.
So,
yeah.
Now wait till you see what Dynasty Data Lab has to say. This will be a fun exercise. I'm kind of curious to see the next couple weeks how much movement we get because I'm gonna guess most people don't actually move enough.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Let's see. Oh, this is actually kind of crazy to think about this.
I bet it's back end QB2. It's in the 20s.
Yeah, so he's actually going right after Bryce Young, and this is going to be, what is this, round 7? Sorry, round 6. So he is middle of round 6, 606 right now. So
6th round.
That's actually, I was actually expecting possibly like round 7, like slightly worse, but still, 6th round startup.
So the only counterpoint I ever have,
yeah,
to me in like my startup strategy,
right,
where I just love to hammer quarterbacks early, right? And people are like, "Well, you can wait."
Well, early and often.
We wait for this kind of stuff.
Mike, this is why, dude. This is actually crazy timing wise for our conversation as we get through the episode. It's like part of the reason I'm a little more comfortable, depending on like what I learned last year for sure. Passing on a rushing quarterback like Jaden was the fucking dumbest thing you could ever do. Period. Yeah. Like if he doesn't do well, he's probably still going to produce for fantasy, and if he does do well, he's an absolute moonshot. Dak Prescott is like one of the rare ones, but it's every year there's somebody down here. Dak Prescott, like I would definitely take him way ahead of to your point of what was it, Stafford. Now Stafford is. I don't expect him to get quarterback 1 as much as I would like Dak. But, dude, Stafford's going in round 11, Mike.
Crazy.
Stafford's going around 11. Why?
Crazy.
Why? Like, how many years do you expect to get out of Darnold in round 8 and Stafford in round 11 in Dynasty?
Same picture.
What if they gave you the same amount of years? Because that's a likely scenario. And now, who would you bet on for a year? Sam Darnold or Matt Stafford?
Same picture, man.
But wouldn't you bet on Stafford producing the next year versus him?
More than likely, better offense.
But yeah, you would if you had to bet right now, Darnold or Stafford for this season. You would bet Stafford, right?
Yeah, you bet Stafford.
That's a dynasty flaw. There's 3 rounds of difference.
But because Darnold looks 28 years old.
It's literally a wrong. We're looking at a wrong number. We're looking at a number that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I get you.
Like that. How dumb is that?
It's the same thing. Like, why is Darnold over Geno Smith?
Even another good point. Geno Smith just got a contract. Is it because the Seahawks chose Darnold over him? Like, do you care?
Darnold, Geno Smith, Matt Stafford. How long are you betting on all of those guys?
Almost on a yearly basis. I'm gonna have to reassess, right?
Year by year, right? Year by year. For all. You pray you get 2, 3 years, 4 years out of them. It'd be great. Probably ain't gonna happen though, right? Year by year basis. So, if you got to break all 3 of them down, how do you rank them for one season? Because they're 1 year bets. Whether people want to know it or not about Geno Smith, it's a 1 year bet. If Geno sucks and the Raiders tank, you don't think they're going to the well and drafting a quarterback? They're like, going on 36-year-old Geno Smith, even though we just gave him a contract, that's still the answer. Fuck you. They'll move on for him like, gone. Bye.
Mike,
see ya.
The Browns have 5 quarterbacks on their roster. And they paid a quarterback far more and far guaranteed than did Geno, right? Like, they'll move on. They eventually have to. Like, they do.
They will move on. So, all 3 of them, Adam, rank them. Bottom of the barrel quarterbacks. You got to pick one. They're all
so,
1 year
it's
bets.
Darnold, Geno, and Stafford?
Yep.
And I would go the opposite of how I just said it. So, I would take Stafford. I would take... This is so here at least for me, the way I like to think about my teams now in Superflex and line up probably a little more so than best ball because the principles are different there. Rostering too much at the quarterback position, unless I'm in an actual horde where I'm going to leverage at quarterback 3, let's say, is really dumb in my opinion, right? Because Stafford is a way, in my opinion, to do 2 things in a startup. If I decide I pretty much always would love to have the elite quarterbacks early if I can, right? But there's only so many of them, and a lot of people want to have the elite quarterbacks. So as I start going through, if I could still have 2 quarterbacks that are really good, that I like at certain ranges, and then make Stafford my quarterback 3, I absolutely love that strategy. It's my favorite thing to do.
Love it and live it.
You know what I don't like as much, but I'm willing to do, is go Stafford and then get one of those other ones, right? Right before I'm out of the realm of quarterbacks, and I'm like one Superflex star option, and then a Stafford and another shitter, right?
Back to the waiting on quarterbacks and startup draft strategy.
Yep.
Right? The people need to be cognizant that this strategy that you have of, listen, Mike and Adam made great points about Dak. I want to make sure that I can get Dak because he's got that ridiculous ceiling, and I'm getting the value.
Sure,
I get it. Just be cognizant of who you're drafting with and be ready to pivot at a moment's notice because, as Adam can attest, we've seen this time and time again in all of our startups. We watch people come in with that same strategy. I don't have to take quarterbacks. Right. I'm going to take these wide receivers. And Adam, what happens? There's a dickhead, 1 dickhead, or 2 dickheads, or sometimes 3 dickheads in the league.
And you better hope it's only one. You better hope it's only one because when it's 2, the wave and the run can get crazy. Because
you're thinking I'm going to grab Dak in the 6th round as my QE1. That's a hell of a value. And then I'm going to come back with some combination of Geno or Darnold and Stafford. And that's how I'm going to fill out my quarterback room.
Even A. Rich there, right? Yeah, but even mix A. Rich in there.
5th round comes. You don't think Mike's taking a quarterback, and guess what Mike does? Mike takes fucking Dak Prescott right out in front of you. And Adam sees Dak Prescott goes, and he goes, oh, shit. Time to accelerate the fucking timeline of me taking Matt Stafford.
All of a sudden, my antennas go up. You know. Wait, you tell me JJ's off the board, Dak's off the board? Oh, yeah. We're getting thin, right?
This is how people get left with fucking quarterback rooms with Sam Darnold as their QB1 and Derek Carr as their QB2 and going, fuck. I don't know what happened. Everything was going so well.
I'm telling you, the crazy part too about that is that, like, I could give you the strategy on both sides, but I'm telling you straight up, I try to chameleon it. Like, I don't go into any startup thinking I'm on a quarterback horde. But at a certain point, when the receivers are getting to that, especially mid-round range, right, where it's like, dude, I'm looking at guys that I could shoot my shot. I could make a case for about 10 players right here. Like, I'm in a very clear, wide tier, right? No, you know what? Fuck that. You guys have let quarterbacks fall too far. Now I might take my third here. Like, I would make Dak Prescott my quarterback 3. So maybe I do take him in round 5 to make sure I get him. And then round 6, I'm looking at the same pocket of receivers. You know what I might do? Fuck you guys. You know? That's it's like a psychology dynamic. But the other thing too is if they're falling, right? If they're going to continue to fall, maybe I think the biggest thing, if you're going to go into a startup with the strategy of waiting, to your point, you've got to be very, very cognizant of the people that you're drafting with. If you don't know them, just be even more aware. Because what I'm looking for is how many quarterbacks they have, right? Now, if I'm going to start up with Mike, if I'm going to start up with a lot of South Harmon people, you can almost get rid of the strategy, like of counting their quarterbacks, because they're gonna take another one and another one and another one.
Doesn't mean shit.
Right. But when you're in a normal startup with even, I'd say, most people, you can at least have an idea. Because, Mike, here's what makes it crazy. Me and you, I think, might really be willing to take my quarterback 3 of Dak Prescott in round 5. Most people, though, don't have the stones to do that in a startup, right?
No.
And so that's why the game is such a it's a fascinating one, but it's a fun one, you know?
Startup psychology is always interesting to me too, because
I fucking love it. I love it. It's one of my fun. It's so fun.
It's awesome too, because you see so many people, right? Think about startups. Coming fresh out of a startup, the league will never have as much parity as it does right there, right? Because everything just got shooken up. Everybody had equal opportunity to build teams, right? Like, to do what they want. The league will never be as close, right, in parity at the top as it is coming out of a startup.
Yeah,
because you and I have done millions of these fucking things at this point, right?
Yeah.
And there's always somebody who feels like they won the draft, and you're like, damn, that guy's got a good team, right?
Yep.
And then you get to the season, and the guy that we were making fun of because he had like the 8th best draft is by far and away the strongest fucking team in the entire league, and just walks away with it.
Well,
you're like, what the fuck?
Absolutely. And Mike, I mean, as we can attest to, it's actually I like to put myself on trial. It's something that people are going to do that to me anyway, but I kind of like to use myself as a bad example. So AAF fuckos, which is actually funny now, Mike, because back at the time, this is back in the day, we didn't even have, we had our own Discord, but we weren't doing any podcasts like outside of the one on Patreon for $1 a month at the time, right? We're in Destination Devy's Discord like, holy fuck, Adam just got another tight end and his team is loaded. And like, this guy's going to run it for the next couple of years, right? Mike, my team didn't win a title. I don't even know if it made it to a title game.
No.
And it became one of my worst dynasty teams right now, easily, right? And chasing that, win early thing, when it goes wrong, man, if you make a couple bad bets or a couple guys get hurt, dude, it went, and that one went south. So I guess to your point, that's one of the things about chasing too early, like when you're sending in right out of a startup, futures. Man, do you know how just, especially firsts, right? Because if you gave me your 201, Mike, like you would love to have that back, but what's it really going to fuck you up? Like,
yeah,
not that much.
Not that much.
But you know what? Besides also absolutely the pride of not having your 201 or your 101 or 102 and when you feel like you need to rebuild, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt like hell. And that's what people don't realize when they're sending in a startup, their future. You know how much variance goes into this and how most of these teams are within a few players of being towards the top of the league, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. We did promise some rookie talk last week.
Let's do it. I'm ready for it.
So big synopsis, right? Just on the George Pickens thing. For me, Adam, I think it's good for for all our fantasy relevant stars that we actually care about. All right, I'm not going to talk about the Jaden Blue shits and Jake Ferguson. I don't fucking care. Okay, I don't care how this affects Calvin Austin. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. This is good for DK Metcalf, right? It's good for him. Okay, this is also good for Caleb Johnson.
Oh,
right? I was got to throw Caleb into it.
Someone put it on. I put it. I think Jake said it, or someone put it. I put it on the screen. But yeah, go ahead. You're
good
right.
for Dak. Good for Dak. Another weapon, an actual comp, like a one that has a brain. Okay?
Honestly, Mike, this is his best receiver since Amari Cooper was there.
Best number 2 wide receiver since Amari Cooper was there.
Yep.
Prime Amari Cooper.
Right. And mind you,
last year's Amari Cooper.
Yeah, we're talking Amari Cooper in 2021 or 2020, whatever that was, right?
While overall volume may come down, CeeDee Lamb is fully going to enjoy the fact he has somebody who can actually take some coverage away from him that's not named Jalen fucking Tolbert. Please and thank you.
It's not good for Tolbert. That's the one person that's not good.
I said I was sticking to people I give a shit about.
I know, that's fair.
All right. Yeah. So the trade was awesome. It was a nice – and we didn't even talk about – they got this fucking thing dirt cheap. Like, the Steelers must want him out of there. They must not want to pay the contract.
Can I tell you the only
wore out his
my only red flag –
yes.
only red flag I will give you for Pickens where – Go tell everybody the trade just so that we can put this on the record, right?
What, like a third rounder was?
I thought it was a third. Yeah. Okay. So,
I mean, they paid the same fucking price for Jonathan Mingo, for fuck's sake. I forgot that guy was even on the team. Now, like, it was like an epiphany. Holy shit, Jonathan Mingo's still alive.
Here's the question that I'm going to ask, and Fizz, if you want to take a potty break, do what you got to do to not hear this. All right, at least earmuffs. Mike, I want you to tell me, since the Steelers, I think of relevant like last, 5-8 years, maybe even longer, name a receiver the Steelers had that they decided, you know what, this is like irreparable.
Sorry. There was a fifth added in. Who gives a fuck?
Hillbillies. By the way, shout out Hillbillies. He was DMing me like, hey man, I know I was bullying you. I wasn't trying to be, so sorry if it was too much. I'm like, don't ever apologize for it again. And found out he's a Morgantown, West Virginia guy. What's going on, Hillbillies?
Oh.
Love him. But, Mike, name a receiver the Steelers decided, like, this is irreparable. We can't – we're done. We need to move on. And that guy left and got better.
Emmanuel Sanders.
There you go. And, well, how long ago was that? That's over 10 years ago now. It's over 10 years ago now.
God damn, I'm getting old.
10
years, Adam. I was in my 20s, bro.
I know. Trust me. I know. Mike,
feels like a lifetime ago.
Mike, I'm telling you, I was talking with my wife about.
You think 30-year-old me is a wild boy?
Wait. Mike, there's a reason South Harmon didn't form until 2021. Okay, we weren't supposed to meet in our 20s. I promise you. Like, we weren't supposed to meet in our 20s. I just know that.
Dude, I was like slightly in shape, you know. I'm not gonna say I was in shape.
Yeah.
I guess round is a shape, but it was a lot more in shape back then. You know, knees didn't hurt, weren't as creaky. You could stay up until 4 a.m. just getting piss drunk.
I can wake up again in the morning and not be that bad. You know, like I'm good.
Sometimes you wouldn't even go to bed. You just go to work the next day like a fucking man. Smell like an ashtray and booze.
But here, I mean, so Emmanuel Sanders, dude, because he was playing with Peyton Manning. We're talking that's 2013.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess my point with all that is, right, normally when the Steelers of any recent memory decide, hey man, it's time to move on, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I can almost bet you there's a lot of weirdness going on. A lot of weirdness. Now, this is, I don't want to completely helmet scout. I don't want to act like George Pickens is toast, but to me, that's like this red flag of like, okay, if the Steelers tried to put up with you for a long time and they're like, you know what, we need to bail.
Nah, we good.
That's been a bad thing. That's a bad omen. So Fizz,
historically not good.
Yeah, so Fizz, if you want to listen now, go right ahead.
Historically not good, but hey, it's fine.
But I still like Pickens. I think this is the best case scenario for him. Was, dude, I don't see how that was going to work. I think that's maybe one of the reasons the Steelers did is like if we don't bring in a quarterback. I was just talking with E on yesterday. What are the Steelers doing? Like, explain it to me. You had Fields, you had Russ. Okay, so let's decide that Russ is cooked. We don't let Russ cook. He's cooked. Fine. You botched the whole Fields thing. He's just like, listen, I'll get the same thing in New York. I'm just gone. Cool. This is your plan? The one guy on Ohio State that nobody wanted. Will Howard.
What I don't understand, though, is at the end of the day with the price, right? It works for Dak in Dallas and, good for Dallas. I can acknowledge that was a good, heady move. Jonathan Mingo, not so much. Trading away Amari for a fifth rounder a few years ago, not a good move. How the fuck there's still a lot of teams out there that have wide receiver needs big time. How did nobody else get wind that, hey, Pittsburgh, we heard that they wanted to move Pickens, but I didn't really believe it. Obviously, they've told people their price for a while, and Dallas is the first one who's like, we'll give you a third and a fifth. Will that work? And Steelers are like, we're in. Was everybody too scared to throw out a lowball offer?
Well, Mike,
fear of rejection, and Jerry's just so fucking senile. He was like, "Hey,
I love where your head's at. I love where your head's at." And let me give you a Dynasty relatable question. I think of right. Okay, so what'd they pay for DK?
Second round, yeah, second rounder.
Okay, so let's say, in theory, in Dynasty, I can get an upgrade at receiver. I'm trying to move Pickens. Can I move Pickens now for a second? That'd be what I'd be thinking, right? All right, so if I can't get that, you know what I'd be doing? All right, where's the biggest fish? Which one of these fucking teams is going to give me a third that I think's the 301?
I want the worst third.
You know what? The Cowboys you're in? Oh, wait, hold on real quick. Can we get a fifth? We're talking with some other people. Done deal. Sign and deliver,
You know goddamn well they weren't talking to anybody.
Of course. That's how they squeeze that little fifth out at the end, though. That was actually, Mike, I didn't know we were talking about it.
Salesman shit, man. That's a salesman coming out of you. We're talking to other people. I got another caller on the line.
Listen, I'm negotiating. Well, Mike, can I tell you that fucked me in an actual draft? This guy told me straight up, I was trying to buy R.J. Harvey. He fell to the 204, dog. I'm like, I've been trying to trade up for 4 picks. And he's still there.
Get John Campbell.
So at 204, the guy he's new in the league, right? And he's basically telling me he's shopping it every time. So I'm like, bro, I'm not going to keep, this is my final offer. I'm not going to keep upping the offer against myself. But he told me that. Most people just say that, right? Oh yeah, I'm negotiating. Well,
they T-rock you.
And guess what? I called his bluff, and he sure as fuck was. He did trade. He did take that trade. Okay, but hey, listen, we have to stop the bleeding here. I'm not just gonna keep bidding against myself until you prove me otherwise.
Because you don't know. You don't fucking know.
I'm not gonna keep driving the price up. What if this dude is coming into this league trying to big dick everything? No, not happening. Not on my watch.
Great.
But anyway, yeah, Fizz. I'm thinking they're that's the earliest third we're gonna get. So let's get that one.
Well, on a plus note, this is a shorter rookie discussion because we don't have that many rookies and quarterbacks and tight ends that we give a fuck about. So
let's pivot to that though. Mike, let's talk. Let's get through. Tight ends shouldn't take long. Let's start with tight ends. All right, let's start at the top. Colson Loveland. Let's start with the
buy him
before we get really into the whole Tyler Warren victory lap. I know Colson Loveland. We said. I think both of us said I think there's a very realistic chance he goes ahead of Tyler Warren, and
in the draft,
and he in fact
won
did.
Money off that.
He in fact did, and by
other people money off that.
Wasn't it 4 spots? It was a couple. It was more than a couple. Yeah. So Colson Loveland 10. Let's start there. I'm gonna go keep trade cut on the side here. Listen, man, we had a nice little family day actually today, so I don't have a lot of player graphics prepared, but I'll pull them up, and I want to go keep trade cut just to give you where they're at against the current market. All right. So.
Go for it.
He's actually still behind Tyler Warren, but they're both tier 12. Asset 68 and tight end 5. Colson Loveland. Let's where are we at here with this? And I don't know if you want to run maybe a Dynasty Data Lab on the side and see what he's going and start and
rookie drafts right now.
Yeah, rookie drafts.
I'll pull that baby up. We'll see what's happening.
We'll give you our touch.
Colson Loveland going after Tyler Warren in rookie drafts too. Okay, I did. Yep. I can't help you people sometimes. I fucking can't. I try my hardest.
Mike, all you can do is control what you can control, right?
Whatever. Fuck them, I guess, at this point. Yeah, he's going at the 111, Tyler Warren at the 108. You guys have problems, get help immediately.
Well, Mike,
Please.
The one thing about the tight end, the one thing about this conversation about it, right? Because Colson Loveland, we'll just start here. I think the reality is when we push them into, he's tight end 5 on Keep Track. He's ahead of Kittle. He's ahead of Hawk. And I think the fact that there's 4 mouths, so to speak, in Chicago kind of dampers the.
Yeah.
People think they're going to come out of the gates and be immediately amazing when they have these young, highly drafted rookies. So I think that's probably why he's still going behind there. If you told me he went to Chicago, they didn't take Burden, and maybe even like Rome wasn't there or something, people probably going crazy.
So their overall ranking is absurd and
Nuts.
abysmal. It's stupid. Let's just say that. But if I'm looking at rookie ranks, this is what I'm talking about. It's also absurd and stupid, the fact that Tyler Warren's over Colson Loveland. The NFL drafted him over Tyler Warren. Reason number 1. Reason number 2, nice little nugget about how busy the phones were, especially those picks 6 to 10. People calling to trade up to get into that pick. And coincidentally, after the Chicago Bears selected Colson Loveland, the phone calls stopped. They didn't keep coming in. So it wasn't just the Bears. The Bears just stopped his end at 10. I love his game. I had him over Tyler Warren before the pre-draft process. Post-draft doesn't change anything for me, right? I think my simple analysis was Travis Kelce. If Travis Kelce still had to learn how to get that route nuance and like find the soft spots in the zones. But the rest of the build, the movement skills, the hands, the blockings, it's plus blocking. He's not a bad blocker. They don't make a lot of Michigan tight ends who are shitty blockers, okay? There's not a lot of Evan Ingrams. There's not a lot of Chigaquanquos coming out of Michigan. It's blocking dudes, prototypical size, good athlete. Nothing not to like about him. And apparently Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears were like, this is what we want to spend a top 10 pick on. We have Cole Kmet, but we think Colson Loveland is so much better than Cole Kmet. That's what we're drafting.
Well, and Mike, the crazy part, if you go and listen, the clip from last week, right? I was talking about their presser overall of Johnson and Poles. They could not have said enough. They literally were drafting best. They were sticking to their board. They were drafting what they thought was the best available player, regardless of position, every time. That means that for the tight end position, they thought Colson Loveland was legitimately the best player on their board at 10.
They do not subscribe to the tight ends don't matter theory of South Harmon,
right? But to the point, right? Like that part, when you think about it, how they drafted is insane. That means they really fucking were high as could be on Colson Loveland. But yeah, it's a good point actually. And we got a fatty. Roll that fatty up. Never get to catch you guys live. Well, Kevin, this is how you catch us live. You come in, you drop a $20 super chat. We will not never. But the toddler and the 1-year-old are fast asleep early tonight. Kevin, I can already relate to this early.
Toddler and a 1-year-old. Yeah.
I can relate to this fucking early, buddy. Oh man,
it's like Christmas when they both go down early.
Mike, you don't even know how to handle.
He's not passed out though.
I was gonna say you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what to do with yourself. You normally fall asleep trying to have fun. Yeah.
Fall asleep trying to. Oh my God, we've reached that age.
Oh, sorry. All right, I love the bourbon. He's got Adam and the Tear Down King make for a nice little Wednesday. Appreciate. He says thanks for keeping me company. Of course, Kevin, we're here for you. Even if you don't catch us live, we're here for you. Dude, sweet super chat. But Mike, here's what Hillbillies had up. This is what's interesting about the whole thing, where these tight ends are going to be going.
These ranks are stupid.
To me, if you're batting on a tight end that's not named Brock Bowers to finish tight end 1, it's easily Hawk for me this year. Fully off of we've seen him do it. Fully removed from the injury. That's what I don't know bet.
I'm not going to say easily because
I would have Kittle very much in the conversation too.
Trey McBride was fucking cooking.
Sure, and Trey McBride. I mean, I would bet that his touchdown upside could come up too. But I would. The reason I also say T.J. Hockenson is I'm assuming I'm getting the value of that, right? It has to. Yeah.
It has to.
It has to. I'm also assuming that
positive regression.
Yeah, it's called exactly. People hate that term, by the way. Positive regression to the mean because they don't understand it. It just means that it's going to come back to the mean. But the reason I was saying that too is I think Hawk would be in value wise. I would easily bet Hawk because the plus is ridiculous. I'd imagine he's
full year off the ACL. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope ass offense. Yeah. That'd be a great bet.
And all that to say, and that was another thing about the tight end position. You know what we're bad at doing? You know what we're really horrible at doing?
Picking the good ones.
Picking the top 3. Picking the top 6. Or whatever the fuck in your league, the warp part that matters. Like I was telling this to Eric.
Unless it was that nice stretch where it was just Travis Kelce and some.
And Travis Kelce's ruined. And you know what he did? He ruined it. Okay, he ruined it for you. But Mike is. You know who was in redraft last year? Going super late in a high stakes league. So $5,000 payout, right, for the winner. I was in with BDG. You know who did not get drafted at all for anyone tight end almost in the entire draft? Last round of the draft, Brock Bowers. Redraft, nobody fucking knew. He's a rookie. The offense sucks. The quarterback sucks.
Damn.
That's how good we are at picking the good ones. You know,
we suck.
It's impossible outside of, to your point, like we knew Kelce. Once you know a guy's established, maybe a little different conversation, but a lot of times even those guys go up and down plenty. So,
right,
super chat from Tunchi. Yeah, go ahead.
Back on the fucking rails. Tunchi, appreciate the super chat. Yes, absolutely.
Easily.
Cliché's God. Love him.
I'm so interested to see what he does, but let's
listen. We're fast forward a year from now. People will be like, "Wow, great call on Luke Lachey, Mike. Like, you fucking idiot." I'm either set up for that, or I'm set up to be the fucking smartest, best fucking tight end guy that you have ever met. Because I swear to God, if I hit on 7th round fucking Luke Lachey out of Iowa,
it's a win-win for me.
Texas,
you know what? Fuck him.
After Tucker Kraft and after Sam Laporta, like.
If I pull this off, I'm going to look like a genius to the board.
Listen, I will gladly take the criticism, right? Like, that is worth it. That part of the risk is fine because the payoff is massive.
I will admit, at that point, we may need to have I might need to get I might have to hire someone for AMA. I don't know that Mike is going to just, whatever I say, it doesn't matter. Whatever he thinks is going to be king. You're going to be able to tell him shit. If he hits Lachey, it's over. You know,
I'm gonna wear that fucking Jason Kelce Super Bowl parade outfit just every time we come on the show.
He's like, you have something different to say? You sure about that, bitch? No, but go ahead. Yeah, Colson Loveland. These guys are all going too high. The early ones, Loveland and Tyler Warren especially.
I ranked Tyler Warren at 2, and I put Mason Taylor in the same tier. There's not a lot of differentiator between me. For me, between Tyler Warren and Mason Taylor. I think Mason Taylor is much more pro-ready. Mm-hmm. I see a better role in his offense right out the gate. The draft capital was 2nd round. I tried to make a case between, like, 1st-round draft capital means something, but none of the fucking data that I have off of Barry's hit rate sheets tell me that 1st-round tight ends hit anything more than fucking 2nd-round tight ends. It's the same thing. Now, what does tell me and gives me a little bit of hope is S-tier tight ends, top 10 drafted capital. Colson Loveland hit that one. Tyler Warren did not. I didn't really like Tyler Warren's fucking game. I think he's more of a developmental tight end. I think I was pretty vocal about that pre-NFL draft, how if I was a fan of the team that took him in the 1st round, I'd be very fucking pissed. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a Colts fan, I would be very fucking pissed. Mason Taylor, him, don't really care. We'll give the edge to Tyler Warren in my little tiers, though, and I'll put him above because I do acknowledge, like the fucking dumbass community is right now, they still just can't get off Tyler Warren's dick for whatever reason.
And the one thing about Brock Bowers that, again, I still at the moment feel very strongly that, like, overvalued. I want to get rid of him. I want to move on from the shares I have. But where I acknowledge that I lost a lot and still have to try to adjust for this is where I was trading him or moving off of that pick, right, or drafting McCarthy. The value bleed was bad. The value bleed was really bad, right? So that's the only thing is the market's different. Truth be told, Mike, the problem for most of my leagues, of my 18, I need to get into some other leagues, honestly. Maybe that'll make me want more leagues because all I do is draft with South Harmon people for the most part, and they ain't giving me shit for fucking tight ends. They ain't giving me nothing for tight ends. You know,
make a burner account, find a random league. It's always
there.
Fun.
You go. That would actually be kind of fun.
It's the opposite of the Cheers theme song. You want to go where nobody knows your name.
You want to go where no one knows your name. I like that. So, but then once you get to Mason Taylor, so I agree with you. I think he's closer to Loveland in what I would bet on production and their like outcomes probably for the next few years. The window I care about, 2 or 3 years, right? So, I'm higher on Mason Taylor than consensus, and I still acknowledge there's a lot of tight ends at that point, though, that I would take ahead of Mason Taylor, right?
Then I separated tier 3, Elijah Arroyo, Terrence Ferguson, and listen, call me an imposter or whatever the fuck you want. Dude, I cannot drop Luke Lachey any lower. Like, I can't get over this.
Wow. No, listen. The
NFL
good part
wrong.
is
I'm right.
The good part is this is I think, in my estimation,
take that one with a grain of salt.
Well, no, it's what makes Mike. All right. I will get bullish on some players, and I'll lean into it. But when Mike decides to he'll throw caution to. The wind isn't even the fucking word. It is into a tornado. He could care less. They're throwing it in a tornado. You got him at tight end 5? Or is it 6? That would be 6, right? Sorry, I can't count.
Tight end 6. Yeah.
Damn. Wow. I need more. I need a little more, just in case you're right again and I'm wrong. Because holy fuck, he's going for a lot less to this point. Like,
here's what helps it. Every other tight end that I looked at ranking, they're just uninspiring. There's so many warts on them. There's warts in their profile. There's warts with their landing spot. There's warts with their draft capital. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I just really didn't, right? Like, it's okay. Anyway, we're operating from a position that I give zero shits about, and you'll never see me take a lot of these guys in fucking Dynasty rookie drafts because people take Colson Loveland in the first round. They take Tyler Warren in the first round, and they get over their skis on Mason Taylor in the second round. And then here I am usually sometime in the third or fourth round going like, let me just pick you, buddy. Like, you're my tight end. You're going to be it. Hey, welcome to the team.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll just give you a little preview for my ranks. He's already there, okay? Satoshi, he's already wide receiver 1. So, Mike, let me ask you this. Where are you at?
Be hot takey, and Adam already did big dick.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm with you. Hopefully we're not wrong here. All right, Mike. So where are you at with then? Where do you put Gadsden? Raz thing. His Raz just isn't there. Sorry, like it's just not there for me.
The Gadsden thing, like production wise, body type, like that kind of thing. He's a glorified wide receiver, is what he is. Okay, Adam, and I'd rather he would have went to an offense that is one. A little bit more creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 2, if you're also going to go to an offense, even if they are creative, you can't go to an offense where like your spot is already kind of filled. You know what I mean? Like, so he's not going to be the inline guy. He just can't. He's terrible at it. So he's the move tight end. Okay. They don't really use that kind of guy anyways. Like, that's not really their thing. Mm-hmm. And even if you want to do this whole like, well, maybe it's kind of like, Jonnu Smith back in the day, with Arthur Smith, and they kind of used, that move tight end, and then they had the bigger guy. Whatever the fuck it is, whatever your rationalization is, they have Trey Harris, who they drafted to be the outside wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Okay, So Gadsden's not going to get a lot of work on the outside.
No,
Ladd's taking up the slot work, and then that kind of big body. Get him the ball on tunnel screens, get him the ball on drag routes, and let him use his yak ability, like you would think for a kind of a move tight end. As much as we like to shit on him, they still like QJ around those parts, and he's actually pretty decent, especially if you only throw him 3-yard passes. He doesn't have a lot of opportunity to drop them.
Yeah.
And then do what he does best, which isn't a lot, but it's running with the football in his fucking hands. So non-creative offense, and then like the roles that you could put Gadsden in already are already fucking taken. So it's an intriguing name. The actual end of it, you're like, I don't really give a shit.
I will tell you the tiebreaker for me having let me just say, and before Mike freaks out, I'm just going to help him say, sorry for besmirching his name early here, Luke Lachey's, that is, because I'm already at don't give a shit here with all these guys in this range. I agree with your point. The one thing is, if I was going tiebreakers on, well, what if they have to go a little more of the passing style the second half of the season? I want to be attached to Justin Herbert. So, and I know we got C.J. Stroud for Lachey too, but to me, the Julius Thomas is the comp I could see high range, where if everything worked out perfect. I don't expect him to be Julius Thomas. I'm not saying that, but I'm with you. There's a lot of bad points, but that's why I also have him at tight end 8. Like, Mike, I'll tell you truthfully.
Not high either.
Mike, I got him after tight end 5, like I'm kind of just at the point of like what goes to waivers. I'm good there. Like you know what I mean?
There you go.
That's where I'm at. Like I'll draft Ferguson and Turd Ferguson is what I like to call him, right? Rocking the turd. After that, I'm good. Like I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take what's at waivers because Lachey's gonna make it to waivers.
There's 2 other tight ends I'm moderate in, and I'd be more interested in, maybe 5th round or waivers, that kind of thing. Like I get a little bit more excited about it, but those are kind of gonna be the guys I take my shots on.
Yeah.
Gunnar Helm, I know the 40, but then I tell myself he rolled his ankle, so he'd be fine. I like everything I saw beforehand. And then Mitchell Evans. 2 years ago, Mitchell Evans looked like the next coming of, great tight end coming out of Notre Dame.
Right.
Not so good since then. But I'm like, does Jatavian Sanders, Tommy Tremble really fucking scare me in Carolina? No, not really. So I could see a scenario where Mitchell Evans maybe makes some noise and So I don't really give a fuck about the rest of the tight ends, but those are 2 guys I just throw in there. Cool.
No, I'm 100% with you. Let me ask you, Mike, what would you bid on? Because that was one of the super chats. What would you? Let's say we get to the waiver part where it's $1,000 budget. Lachey's out there. These guys are out there. What are you putting on?
$1,000 budget. Well, I was gonna say on $100 budget, I bid $3, so $1,000, $30.
$30. Okay, so 3%, right?
$30. Yeah. 3%. I was doing the math. Yeah, who gives a shit? 3%. There we go. We got the math down.
All right, good. Let me see here. So, as far as the tight ends, is there any? How many tight ends would you take in Dynasty ahead of like that tier of guys? Like basically, like where does Ferguson land for you? Where do these guys land for you?
Well, there's gonna be a lot of tight ends I'll take before those guys. Because you know what the production is. We're very similar to production. Right? We're all just basing this off of rookie tight ends that don't have the greatest fucking hit rates anyways. Jesus Christ. Right now, Terrence Ferguson's tight end 19, just for reference.
Wow.
Elijah Arroyo's tight end 25. How the fuck is Dallas Goedert, Jonnu Smith, Bretton Strange, Pat Freiermuth below those guys?
Right.
Give me all those other fucking tight ends before Terrence Ferguson.
Easily. Yep. Easily. Where are you at with what was I going to say here? It's
I just shit on Jake Ferguson. Give me Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, there you go. And that's I'm with you because it's Turd Ferguson. What about like Hunter Henry? Where would you put him versus some of these guys? Let's get gross a little bit.
Hunter Henry over everybody not named Mason Taylor.
Mike, I have Mason Taylor at 21 and Hunter Henry at 22. I'm with you.
There you go.
Dead set.
That's kind of where we start. Yeah.
People say their streams are lagging. I don't know. Are you lagging, Mike, for me?
Yeah, my screen's been lagging for a minute now.
Okay.
Hot minute.
All right. Apologize for I'm not sure what's going on. But Mike, I mean, we're an hour in. Do you want to do you want to restream it then for like do another stream for the quarterbacks if it's that bad?
Nah, fuck it. We power through, man.
Okay.
We can do a quicker show too. We've done so many fucking marathons this last month. It's nice every now and then to get off and go, oh shit.
It's early.
No offense, people.
All right. Do you want to save the quarterback for a different time?
Let's knock them out quick because it ain't long. It ain't a long list.
Okay, let's go.
A long list. Yeah, we'll be good.
All right, let's go. Let's
start the quarterback. Tier 1 quarterback.
Yep.
Cam Ward, no question.
Not a discussion, and there's no one even close to him in the quarterback field.
I have seen hillbillies put in here. Somebody else put in there. Getting him at the 109 in a rookie draft, 111 in a rookie. Jesus, fuck people.
Wait, Cam Ward?
Yeah, I'm serious. Like I've seen the screenshots of some of this shit. I've also seen some very vocal, big time Dynasty fantasy football analysts, and I just say big time in stature, not in actual knowledge or ability in the game, because that's
how they play.
They fucking
sure,
suck at their job. Yeah. The shout out DB. I'm gonna do a much bigger episode on this. I wish I would have done it sooner. Adam and you and I did one last year, but it bears to be mentioned again. His hit rate chart with data back to 2007 is fucking phenomenal, Adam. I don't know how you look at it or you have this kind of data and go, that don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
S-tier quarterbacks. Quarterbacks in the NFL since 2007 with top 10 draft capital for WARP purposes in their first 3 years hit top 6 at a 43% clip. 43 fucking percent.
What?
43%. That's pretty fucking awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, you can't get any more S tier than the 101. Okay. It's facts. Happens.
Sure.
The only other position that even comes close, and if you want to make this argument, and I've softened on Cam Ward over the last week since diving into this. I've softened my stance. I personally still want to take him 101 everywhere for me. Okay? I've softened where I go, listen, the numbers and the data tell me that Ashton Jeanty is probably the smarter choice. Because S-tier running backs are the only other fucking position that hit at a greater clip, top 6 seasons within their first 3 years. So Ashton Jeanty with that S-tier draft capital, he hits historically at a 56% clip.
Okay, and Mike, honestly, we were talking about taking the gloves off. I remember, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. We don't disagree as far as that point. Literally, we don't disagree. Yep. If you say that, we're on the same page, 100% on the same page.
This is where we feel like we're gonna fight, and then I look at it and go, I was wrong, and I'm man enough to admit I'm wrong. Adam, you want to go into it and you want to go, I'm taking Ashton Jeanty 101 in Superflex leagues, by all means. I can still sit here and say that ready in a rebuild to take on a running back and put those points on my team. I can wait on a quarterback a little longer for that production. So either way, I think there's only 2 conversations for 101 pick, and it's Ashton Jeanty and it's Cam Ward. And I would agree that most people should be probably taking Ashton Jeanty if I just go off the numbers. So
yeah, and
Cam Ward.
And there would be some times for Cam Ward if the warp was crazy on QB. But no, dude, to me, again, warp would be a lot of tiebreakers for me, right? I have him very much in my tier 2. If you told me the warp was high enough, I'd take him at 101. If you told me the warp was low enough, I'd maybe take him at 104 if it was low. The 109 thing, Mike, what are we talking about, bro?
What are we doing?
I don't care really the scenario if it's super flex. Stop it. So yeah, okay. Well, anyway, he's as far as the quarterbacks coming in this class, though, it's a no discussion fucking matter.
Here's the interesting one, Jackson Dart. I mean, he's in tier 2 by himself, right? No question there either.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was reading the chat because I'm like, bro, Ward at the 109 to me, hillbillies. Who did you bully there? How you bullied all these people? It's insane.
8 other people in his league. Ward,
yes, Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart
2.
To me is very clearly tier 2 by himself now. Here's the thing, right? I'm willing to, in some drafts, depending on where he goes, take a shot on Shadur when it gets to that point. But it's way lower than Jackson Dart by quite some fucking
You're not drafting Shadur in the first round like some of the shit DB was posted in there. Not DB doing it. He just posted screenshots.
No, gosh, no. Jackson Dart, I will take. Honestly, Mike, I'll tell you this. I think I would take Jackson Dart at the late part of the first, but I don't have to until the second a lot of times. I'm telling you, most of these drafts I've been in, I'm seeing him go 201, 202, 203. But my ranking of him is going to be, basically right in front of those tight ends, honestly. So
quick and dirty, I'll give you the warp hit rates on why I think Jackson Dart should be at the 106. Okay. Now, throw out a guy that you think has a reasonable case, and I'll just give you the hit rates on both of them based on their draft capital, and you tell me which you want. Okay. So I'd say Jackson Dart at 6. Who is the first name when I say 6 that you're like, oh, that guy should be 6?
I mean, 6 is a tier for me, so it's like a new tier. If you put him in there, if you put him there, I won't even fight. But I guess the names would be Quinn. So
let me be clear why I say. Let me be clear why I say 6. There's a case. I can give you a case for why Hampton should be over him, why Hunter should be over him, why Tep should be over him. Right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Couple that with Cam and Jeanty, those guys should all be over him. I'm not going to dispute that at all. I think Jackson Dart starts at 6 for me.
I think depending on what the warp looked like, I could argue him up to 6. I think I agree with you. Now, a lot of times I find that in lineup start 10 leagues, right? Those type of formats where the scoring is for QB, I still might take a shot on Quinshawn or on Trayvon Henderson, but I might like if the quarterback warp was high enough or just decent. It doesn't have to be high, even decent. If it's decent, and the big reason I say that, if I was showing you a warp graph, like we got to do some warp like tutorials or something, maybe mind warp or something, But like with the line, right? If I look at the line and I see on the graph, Mike, that I don't care about quarterback after about 12 in this league, then I wouldn't probably shoot my shot on Dart at 106. But if you're telling me like right on quarterback 18 still, the warp line's pretty high why would I not be taking Jackson Dart around there?
Yeah. All right. So the hit rates, right? What'd you say, Trev? Trev would be the first one.
I would say for me it's Trev, Quinshawn, same tier, with either one. Yeah.
Same one. Second round running back who we
early day two. Yeah.
For top 6 hit rates, right now, mind you, if a running back hits at a top 6 rate and a quarterback hits at a top 6 rate, we're not idiots. Okay, we're going to understand who's more valuable in
right
Dynasty. Right?
A quarterback top 6 range is elite. Yes.
A first round quarterback dating back to 2007 within their first 3 years hits at 13%. A second round running back in their first 3 years hits at 15%. So edge to the running back, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to go top 12 though. If we look at top 12, 25% for quarterbacks versus 20%. So it's not like here's a home run slam dunk. This is why it has to be Jackson Dart. But for me, Adam, that's why the conversation needs to start at 6 with Dart. And I, being the quarterback, I would prefer to take Jackson Dart earlier rather than later and miss out on him. But to your point, if I know who I'm drafting with, right? If I know it's not a South Harmon league with people as tapped in, I might not have to take him at 6 if I got pick 110 or 111, 112, maybe an early second like you've been showing me, which makes me fucking jealous.
But I subscribe to the same notion you have there, 100% easily.
What about
it falls off a cliff? It falls a cliff off
wide
of
receiver.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, which ones?
A Matthew Golden or a Mecca Buka, right? Like take them over Jackson Dart. Top 6 hit rate, 15% for wide receiver with just generic round 1 draft capital.
Not early, tier. Right?
Top 12 hit rates. Being a wide receiver 20%. So a lot of the similar things as running backs drafted in the second round, which is also an interesting point. Just going back to our running back conversation last week about taking a Buka or taking, one of these second round running backs. It's the same fucking dice roll, really, when it comes to hit rates. So take whoever the fuck you want, to be honest. But that's just my case for why Jackson Dart should be in the same conversation, I guess, as these other guys who are going 106, whatever. Don't even get me fucking started on the tight ends. They're abysmal. The hit rates are dog shit. Okay, you guys don't want to fucking know them.
Yeah,
stop taking them. Stop fucking taking them in the first round, please.
I'm going to rest my case because they aren't listening. They've got earmuffs on. They haven't listened to me anyway. So with Jackson Dart, dude. The other thing is, I think we can all acknowledge Cam Ward is a good athlete, and I think has the ability to, if he was to run more, give you some nice floor. Like Jackson Dart can really scoot, in my opinion, and honestly has shown the ability to in games. I think he could be, for fantasy purposes, much better than we think relative to replacement level. But that's another reason why I would be comfortable with Jackson Dart wherever you want to put him from 6 down, right? Period.
Yeah. I think the best thing we do right now. So that was just my quick thing on quarterbacks, Adam.
The best part, Dr. B, is that a few months ago I did go to fiber, but apparently one of us is having a fucking meltdown.
My speed test right now says 900 megabytes, so we cooking over here.
Cooking? All right, I should run mine. Well, it doesn't matter because I tell you, one of ours is not doing well at all.
One of them's lying.
Yes. But
one of them's lying out their fucking ass.
What were you saying before that though? Sorry, I was.
I thought the class was very interesting as far as when I set down the ranks. This is going to be the first time ever I've had 3 single tiers with one fucking guy in it each, because Jalen Milroe's in his tier by him fucking self too.
Damn. You know what? And I just overlooked, because I agree with you, by the way. Now I overlooked the discussion of Jalen Milroe, and you're spot on. Yeah, he's the one guy I'll shoot my shot in the second round. I'll tell you the truth. I've actually been people have been more bullish on the Milroe selection than I. Like Jackson Dart to me is a guy that, at least so far, I feel like I'd have a really good chance of getting where I would be comfortable taking him. Like I've seen Jalen Milroe go like 202, bro. Like I have not got my shot on him post draft at all.
Yep. If I'm gonna take him, it's usually so far it's been for me. I gotta go like 203 is where 203, 204 is.
And that's where
like
I'm at.
The sweet spot.
If you tell me I can get him between 203 and 206, I'm just pressing the button. But Mike, I bet post NFL draft, I haven't got even a chance there.
I've seen a couple where I've gotten them at like 209, 210.
That's too easy.
Slip to the later part. Yeah, too easy.
Can I tell you why? The warp doesn't matter there, because if he plays, he has a chance with his legs to get to the elite mark anyway. So think of Justin Fields. So for me, that's why that discussion is totally different. The only reason I care, Mike, is because he can run, and if that's the case, I'm just drafting him in the second round without a question. 201 and 202 is harder for me because I think the class has enough there where I still want to draft those players for my team. But when we get to 203, I'm out. Give me Milroe, yeah.
Warp hit rates on third round quarterbacks, surprisingly not that terrible. It's not in the shitter. 6%.
Okay, what do you got? Is it really?
And it's 6% to get a top 12 season, and just funny how the data worked out. It's also 6% to get a top 6 season, which could be the Jalen Milroe thing. Like we think like the Jalen Hurts like corollary. There it is, right? Running quarterbacks who are athletic like that, they could easily shit themselves into top 6 quarterback seasons. So
yeah.
Oh man, you crystal clear now. I think it's one of the audience members, like a DDoS attack. That's what it is.
Oh,
I'm trying to put this shit on us.
It's like the Squarespace issue we have with our Warp tool. It's like too much at once. It's like it freaks out. By the way, you're crystal clear too. Let's go. What the fuck? That was weird. That was like a 20-minute that was odd. Anyway, what I was gonna say about Milroe to me, Mike, because I like that hit rate. Honestly, I was gonna say lower. I think about third round quarterbacks, and I'm like, dude, come on, like it's got to be horrible. Now 6 isn't great, but that's not bad given. Tell me what any third round positions are like. Not gonna be good.
Well, let's compare one.
Yeah,
looks like Jalen Bashal Tootin, right?
He's round 4.
Yeah, round 4 running back. You got a top 12 hit rate of 3%. So you're doubling it up by taking Jalen Milroe over Bashal. Doubling it.
Mike, by the way, I got a Tootin in a trade, this big trade that went down. We can talk about that on the trade show instead of this show more, but there was people upset about it. Bashal Tootin was a big piece in this deal that included high-end quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Bashal Tootin's got, you tell me, a 3% by draft capital hit rate.
Okay,
that means 97. That means 97%. That's terrible.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
Round 2 wide receivers. Our Jaden Higgins, our Trey Harris, like the guys that we love in that second round, right?
Yeah.
The guys, Luther Burns, right?
Right.
7% for a top 12 hit rate.
Wow. Basically the same.
So, Jalen Milroe, case for 202. Fuck it.
Yeah. Honestly, the only thing is really in best ball that in lineup and best ball is the only difference for me there. We're like, even if those guys aren't that great, they might make my lineup where I have to hold. I don't like to hold zeros in best ball. That's the only thing there. But dude, that's a great tidbit, man. 6% versus 7%. Third round quarterback, second round wide receiver.
Round wide receiver.
And so there you go too. And you know what? We're shooting a shot out on a lot of these second round receivers, dude. Trey Harris, Luther Burden, all those guys, right?
How many wide receivers since 2007? What's the percentage of second-round wide receivers to make top 6? Top six. The elite of the elite. The elite of the elite.
So hold on. So you're saying in their first 3 seasons, second-round draft capital since 2007, what percent? Dude, low. Really low.
1%.
I was going to say 3. Damn, that's way worse.
1%. Third round quarterbacks have 5% more likely. Jalen Milroe's more likely to be the elite of the elite.
1%.
Trey Harris.
Holy crap!
Just historically speaking, based on their rate. So, something just to think about. A little nugget there for you to leave you with Jalen Milroe. After that, the rest of the fucking quarterbacks, I'll take Shedeur just because I like him, and I'm taking him over Tyler Shuck because I don't like him. And the last quarterback I even gave a shit about ranking was Dylan Gabriel, just because he's got draft cap.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he's shit though.
I do too. I think that's a good way to end the show, Mike. Because I think, speaking of 1%, I don't know what it is, but we've been getting every now and again like this 1% visual of our stream. So
the internet.
Yeah, we gotta. It could very well be mine. I'm not trying to do anything to open any more tabs at this point with the streaming default quality being kind of shitty. But Mike, here's the thing. I think reality. My final like assessment would be with these two positions, right? I don't think I can afford to mess around with the tight ends where they're going, even in the heavy tight end premium leagues. Personally, even in the 2 tight end start, because to me, the biggest difference in dynasty value gap versus production gap, not really close in my opinion, is the tight end position. Like where dynasty value meets production, I think that's the widest range at tight end where it doesn't make sense. So the reason I say that is because I feel like now I have to capitalize on a trade, and I don't ever feel good about trading tight ends, period. So I don't like that. I would much rather draft Mason Taylor, Turd Ferguson, these guys at cost, or just miss out completely and just hit waivers, right? Hit Lachey on waivers. Quarterback position, Cam Ward to me starts the conversation for most leagues would start at the 102, but if you have high warp, go get him at the 101 if you really feel strongly about it. I think Genty's just for the hit rates, to your point, is my 101, but Cam Ward should be going in the 102 to 104 discussion. If you're getting him past that point, dude, you just take the value and run. I don't care if you have 6 quarterbacks. I don't care if you have 10. Like, stop it. For us personally, though, Mike, we would be saying no. You should be 100% doing that because that's called a quarterback hoard. You should just lean into it. But the point is, regardless of what you have on your team, I'm taking Cam Ward 104, 105, 106. How is that happening? I wish I was in some of these leagues too.
I want to be in those too. Give them.
And the last thing is then, honestly, Jackson Dart. Don't sleep on him. And Jalen Milroe, Mike, would be the easy conversation if you missed out on QBs and you need one. Shoot your upside shot on Jalen Milroe starting at probably 202 to your point. I like the hit rate you gave me, man. Good shit.
I think the Jalen Milroe thing is not as risky as we thought. Not as risky as we think.
And you know why? It sounds expensive at 202, and let's just be honest. The class is shit. So at that point, like it's not the risk isn't as bad as it sounds, Mike. I really don't think it is.
Man, one super chat at the buzzer from Cameron Myers.
Bam.
Who you got, Shedeur or Gabriel?
Man, Andy super chatted it, so I have to answer. It's a Browns question.
It does.
Like you know what I hate? If you have more than one quarterback, you know what they say? You have none. That's in college, in my opinion. And this is the NFL, so that's how I feel. But I'm gonna shoot my shot on Shedeur for fantasy purposes. The name cachet. Like if Shedeur is a starter, do you know what will happen?
Yeah, going
freak out, and I can trade that. Dylan Gabriel becomes a starter. What's my value bump? Oh,
QB3.
Whoa. Yeah. So now Dylan Gabriel, Mike, a lot of times isn't even getting drafted in 5 rounds.